That's under an inch right there, or right at an inch, even with my poor shooting on that first one. All right, what's going on, friends? Here we are with the new budget-ish coyote gun project that I'm working on. It's a Ruger American Gen 2 in 22 arc. It's got a 20-inch spiral fluted barrel, looks really nice. They've made a huge upgrade to the stock. It's not near as flimsy as the previous model. It's still not the greatest in the world. Some people hate on the looks. Personally, I love the way it looks. I think it's awesome. So they've definitely made some improvements to that. The barrel, the action is way smoother. There's still a little wiggle room in that action, but I picked this thing up for $550. But I bought it as a kind of a budget-ish coyote rifle. It's mostly budget-ish because of what's on top. This is the new Maven CRS-3. It's a 4-20 by 50 rifle scope. I would say the glass is on par with like a Vortex Viper. In my opinion, the light retention in this one is better, and the overall build quality of this scope feels really, really solid. I've been super impressed with it. The clarity, the light retention, just the overall build quality is terrific. But let's talk about the rifle first. So this is just kind of an all-around, kind of do-it-all training rifle, really. Again, 550 bucks. That's about as budget as it gets, especially with the features that are in this rifle. The length of pull is adjustable. This middle section completely comes out, so this will transform into a youth rifle with a couple screws, which is awesome. The cheek riser, the comb here, is adjustable. Like I said, the bolt has a little bit of wiggle room to it, but I have not had any feeding issues, which was my biggest worry when picking up the Ruger American. They're shipping them with these Duramags now. I haven't had any problems with this so far. So far, so good. The other reason I went with the Ruger American Gen 2 is there's so many aftermarket upgrades you can do for this rifle now. In fact, I've got a MDT, their field stock, on the way, and MDT is also going to send me an Oryx, their Oryx polymer bipod. There's trigger kits for this. Really, the sky's the limit for how you want to kind of build this gun out, and I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to show upgrades in later videos. But for what you get out of the box, I've been super happy with this thing. Ruger American has this Tang safety, which just works fine. And it's a 3-position safety, which I really like, especially for teaching my boys how to shoot. It's just extra safe. When it's all the way down, the bolt is locked and the trigger is on safe. In that second position, the bolt will open, but the trigger is still on safe. So I really like that feature. And then obviously all the way up, red is dead. The bolt takedown is super easy. It's just this knob right here. Pull the bolt up, hold this, and the bolt comes right out. The other upgrade with this, they've smoothed this action out a ton, and there's no more of that zipper zit, 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 zit that's on the American Gen 1. All right, let's talk about this trigger. I'm not a fan of the little safety mechanism here. Personally, I just don't like the feel of it. Eventually, I will swap the trigger out. From the factory, it comes in super heavy at 5 pounds. The stock and the action completely separate. It's 2 screws. You get those out, and then there's a screw on the front of the trigger where you can loosen that trigger. So I have it set down to 3 pounds now. The trigger itself, it's not bad, but there's definitely a specific, as you're squeezing, there is a very noticeable creep right before that gun goes off. Take up, I believe it's called. I'm not the most technical shooter in the world, so forgive me. So I will definitely be upgrading the trigger at some point. All right, now let's talk about this scope, the Maven CRS-3 4-20 by 50. This is their middle of the road line, as I've said before, but it doesn't feel like a cheap scope. And it's not. It's still $700, right? That's no slouch, but for the quality of glass you get, the build quality and the features, man, that's an awesome price. The clicks feel super tactile. There's no like squishiness or creep in there. The zoom level is great, and even at all the way up to 20 power, I'm not losing a lot of image clarity. It retains light really well, and that's what I'm impressed with a more budget-friendly scope, is when I'm all the way maxed in full power, how much light am I losing? Do I lose image quality? And I haven't noticed that with this. It's a really solid scope for the money. This is an MOA version, so I have the MOA reticle. They also have a mill reticle. The parallax adjustment, super smooth, no problems there. The CRS-3 is a first focal plane rifle scope, which first focal plane, as you know, can be more on the expensive side, but for 700 bucks, a 4-20 first focal plane is awesome. Sure, you could take this setup and put a $2,000-3,000 scope on it, but why? For what you get for 700 bucks, this is an awesome option. Maven has been super cool. Their customer service is terrific, and I'm just a huge fan of that direct-to-consumer model, because that's going to save you hundreds of dollars from the retail markup, and you still get an insane warranty. So well done, Maven. It's a great scope. The caps are toolless, so you don't need to carry around an Allen key. But the problem is, and I don't know if you can see this, there is very minimal knurling on this top cap. And dude, it can be a pain in the butt to get this top cap off of here, because you got to hold the turret and kind of get your fingernail in that groove to unscrew it. And I don't have them set on here very tight because they've been such a pain in the butt to get off. But when you can get it off, I really like a toolless windage and elevation caps. But in my opinion, they could make this, you know, a tiny bit taller and just add some more knurling to it, and it would be no problem to get off of there. But anyways, there's no zero stop on this scope, and I think for 700 bucks, that would be a really nice feature to add. Like I said, I've never really utilized a zero stop. I'm not taking shots that require, you know, to go around multiple times on the turret. Kind of my max range is 500-600 yards. But it would be nice to not have to think about that, especially when my kids learn to shoot this. You know, say they go out shooting or deer hunting, and then I take it out for coyotes, and I just have no idea if they've screwed with that turret or not. Having a zero stop would be really nice on this scope. But again, not the end of the world. So there's just those couple little nitpicky things with the scope. But overall, I'm incredibly happy with it. At the end of the day, I can overlook that stuff. I still can get the turret caps off, you know? So it's not the end of the world. But just if they could just maybe fine-tune those couple little things for 700 bucks, man. Ooh, the image quality is awesome. The illuminated reticle is great. Glass quality, light retention. I've been super happy and impressed with this. So if they could just fine-tune those couple little things, I think this scope for 700 bucks would be so hard to beat. So without further ado, again, I'm not the best shooter in the world, but let's get some shots down range. And we're just gonna do a couple 3-shot groups, just so you can see how she shoots, or how I shoot rather. And then we've got a target out there at 500 yards, and we're gonna throw some down range and see how it does at longer distances too. All right, first feed of the day. No problem. I have had 0 feeding issues with this Duramag, which is really nice. I don't have the greatest rest in the world, but this is kind of more of a hunting scenario anyways. And number 3. All right, guys, not bad. This was my first one, which was definitely me. I kind of rushed that one. And these are my next 2. And even so, that's under an inch right there, or right at an inch, even with my poor shooting on that first one. Those are the next 2, man. That is awesome. So we're gonna do one more group. We're gonna shoot down here, and I'm gonna try to shoot just a little bit better. All right, let's do another 3-shot group. Number 2. About another inch there as well. Let's do a 5-shot group. As the barrel's heating up a little bit, let's see how it does. I think that was in the same bullet hole as the other one. All right, so let's walk down and look at that one. I kind of had them spread out this way. That was kind of my breathing, I think. The gun shoots way better than I do for a $550 gun. That looks like another fine inch group for what I'm going to be using this for. Man, I'm very impressed and very happy with it. This is the first factory ammo I tried. And again, some of these misses, this is me. I don't have a perfect rest. I'm not a very good shooter. I'm doing my best. And for me, that's really, really, really solid. Hell, that might be under an inch. Let's go see. So that's under an inch right there. That's another sub-MOA group. And again, I'm not the best shooter in the world. We had 2 touching each other. Almost had 2 touching each other on that one. For the conditions I'm shooting in, for me not being a very good shooter, and just doing what I can off the bipod, man, that is awesome. I mean, here's my thumbnail. That's a dang good group. That's just under an inch, it looks like, or right at an inch on a 5-shot group. This one's under an inch, or right at an inch at a 3-shot group, and that one was definitely me. And this one, the first one I pulled, so if I could have tucked that one in there, I mean, that is pretty awesome for a $550 gun shooting factory ammo. We are at 456.8 yards, 456 yards, 7.8 MOA, 7 point, we'll do 7.75. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have to hold high or not. We're just gonna aim dead center and see how close our dope is, and then make some velocity adjustments in the app if needed. All right, guys, here we go. 456 yards with the budget coyote gun. All right, let's go see. A 4-inch group out of a $550 gun that I've barely shot. It's got maybe 30 rounds through the barrel now. You can't complain about that. That is unbelievable. 20-inch barrel, gun I'm not really familiar with, and we've got, that might be within a 4-inch group, honestly. I don't know. I don't have calipers, but that is an awesome group at 456 yards. But for a $550 out-of-the-box gun, we'll call it a 4-inch group. I think it's within that. I think it's like 3.5 at 450 yards. That is freaking awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. And I sound like a broken record here, but I'm just genuinely impressed. That Maven CRS-3 is a freaking banging scope for the money. I'll have a link to that in the bio of this. This gun is awesome, man. What can I say? 550 bucks. Ruger, hats off to you. You knocked it out of the park. This gun is an absolute blast to shoot. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps you make an informed purchase if you're in the market for a fun budget project gun like this Ruger American Gen 2. I am a big fan of the 22 ARC, and I'm a big fan of you. Subscribe for more if you want to, and do leave a comment if you have a Ruger American Gen 2. What caliber are you shooting? How's it grouping for you? Have you put any upgrades on it? Have you changed the stock? Are you shooting it suppressed? But I'd love to hear from you, and I've got a bunch of great hunts coming, so stick around and we'll see you on the next one. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.